This week on Hermitcraft.
The opposite side of every, of every dispenser here, or dropper, there's a dropper full of heart explode.
Welcome to the Hermitcraft recap. My name is Pixelriffs, our writer is LoyXP, and unless you've been living in a cave or under a cliff, you've probably heard this week's announcement from Mojang. The Caves and Cliffs update will be split in half, with a ton of blocks and mobs coming out in summer, and all the deep caves and tall mountains arriving in winter. If you're anything like us, you're probably wondering, what effect will this geological division have on the Hermitcraft server? We don't know for sure, but here on the recap, we like to indulge in a little idle speculation. To us, it seems like the Hermit's options are either to keep the current season going until winter, when the full effect of deep slate caverns and epic mountain ranges can shape the start of Season 8, and in the meantime roll back their world border for Season 7 to include copper and amethyst and everything in between. Or, on the other hand, they reset the server in summer, allowing everyone who's feeling burnt out on the current world to refresh their heads, and then the world gets real interesting again once the bedrock is suddenly 64 blocks that way. We've already seen them reset the Nether in Season 7, so maybe they all crowd into the Nether for Season 8 and reset the overworld 6 months later. We've also seen Season 6 and Season 2 take some healthy steps into the new updates as they emerge. Leave your favourite theories in the comments, and then whichever one they choose, we all get to smirk and say we predicted it all along. And with that out of the way, let's take a look at all the events and mishaps that occurred on the Hermitcraft server this week. Starting with Etho, who has left it up to fate whether he gets to do something enjoyable, but fate insists he finishes his old projects instead. Luckily, his old projects are a bunch of minigames and fun building opportunities, like the Rip Zone, which needed a few post-turf war adjustments so it could be good for blowing off steam in a proximity chat battle royale. Or his Orderly Ease shop in Aquatown, which he sets up to sell specialty shulker boxes, which you can only buy if you're quick enough to not be murdered by the shopkeeper.
You gotta continue the E brand, you know? Don't be a scar, get orderly.
So anyway, I was thinking I could stand here for a bit with the shield. You know, maybe this guy would run out, but I can't be bothered.
But perhaps the most buzz comes from Brainy Ease, his Minecraft trivia game project. Stocking it with a double chest of questions and completing the exterior, Etho declares the project fully open, which is good because the Hermits are all keen for some quality edutainment gambling.
Not a Ponda type. I don't know a lot about Pondas.
Not used in suspicious stew.
So Diamond Pick breaks Obsidian in
Longest flame burn time.
Elder Guardian Eye Color.
What would not be loot in a shipwreck?
How much money would it take to make you spend a night in a cemetery?
Xisuma Void makes his moves on Aquatown, even if he's technically right outside of it. The well-smart footprint is a big shoe to fill, but the build he's planned for it fits right in, and of all the industries to go for, Xisuma chooses theatre. Through a community-suggested build and some really zoomy time-lapses, X builds up a pretty faithful, if unintentional, recreation of the Muppet Show set. We call dibs on the Statler and Waldorf balcony.
This was made by one of the members of the Hermitcraft Reddit community, who goes by the name of Alpine Shell. Alpine, if you're watching, thank you ever so much for giving me permission to build this. We have brought your fantastic build over here onto Hermitcraft.
And for the sake of tradition, Xisuma brings the auditorium good luck by preemptively breaking a leg.
Zombies can break doors in this game. That's griefing.
On the topic of broken legs, Cubfan135 has been working on his pyramid parkour course, and at this point has completed both the easier blue modern lane and the green jungle segment.
Some easy jumps in here, some hard jumps in here. Don't fall off like I just did. That's always a concern. Gotta make sure not to do that. Alright, let's try it again.
The next story is designed using the nether fungi, and judging by how hard some of the jumps in the previous two are, will really drag you through hell. Even Cub himself visibly struggles through several of the jumps when testing the complete courses.
One cool thing about this, though, is that the rage quit areas are actually on the inside. So this is the rage quit door. Got a nice crimson door here. Say you wanted to practice a jump, like let's say there's one jump you struggle on this level. you can just come over to one of these bubble columns, and voila.
False Symmetry, in turn, has her own vision of the warped mushrooms. To complement the alien terrain outside her Cybertown base, False reimagines the warped fungi trees as something more resembling the shroom they grow out of.
I want to show you at night time, but like I say, limited time, and I really, really want to play. Like, I really, really want to play Shady Ease, or whatever it's called.
The cyan toadstool is left alone till the viewers send in their feedback on a postcard, and in the meantime, False fills the cockpit of the walking saucer right by it, though her gardening escapades don't end there. As per the agreement with BOO, she swaps Scar's front yard for a dead bush exhibit and salts the earth just in case. Scar might be in the lead in the land fight, but his petunias will never recover. Although, if he needs some fertilizer, he won't have to go far to find it.
100 pigs per pen. No, I'm just kidding. That's too many. But that's not what we're doing because that's not super interesting. What will be interesting is how I'm going to destroy Scar's life.
B-Dubs also hops on the prank bus around Aquatown and turns each of Scar's empty plots into a pigsty. So unless the prospective buyers like pigs, podzol and poop in the form of soul soil, the greener pastures touted by B-Dubs will surely have a greater appeal. He gets his dose of karma in the form of Etho's businesses. After a losing streak at Brainy Ease, the employees of Etho's Aquatown store take a disliking to him.
Oh well, I played it perfectly and I followed the rules exactly as exclaimed, but it's broken and the lights are on. Etho, come fix your garbage.
Brainy Ease hasn't been too kind to some of its other visitors either. XB Crafted turns up looking for spruce logs, having bought them out at the other shops in the area, but has a couple of tricky rounds and ends up breaking the machine. We think redstone power from the lectern might have something to do with it.
Wait, what? What just happened? I have no clue what just... Did I actually get one right?
But at least he walks away with a handful of logs and he can go back to building his modern take on a farmhouse, which comes together very nicely opposite the barn and farm plots he assembled last week.
But I really like it. Like, it looks really good. Lawn care in an apocalypse. Probably not a priority.
Joe Hills probably has the best run at Brainy Ease, which is ironic given his aversion to diamonds this season. When he learns the machine doesn't take IOUs with diamond coordinates written on, he digs up the ores himself and smelts them directly into the machine.
Some lava. We're just going to cover this diamond here. Oh, that doesn't work. This diamond here with lava. Boom. Let's stand back just in case this blows up.
He gets a solid set of questions right, but he's also the only one who throws his axe into the game. When Etho wants to axe you a question, that is not what he means.
I mean, we're clearly getting stuff right. So we just got to keep going, like Dr. Sam Beckett, hoping next leap will be the leap to our axe.
Joe's other deed for the day involves bringing skeleton horses over to False's base, but since the quickest way is via the ocean, he does it in the most Pirates of the Caribbean way possible.
So sometimes I don't really have, like, you know, what some people would consider a good plan.
The bones of TFC's tower have now gained a few more solid bits as he makes some off-camera progress on the walls and floors, the latter of which he plans a smelter array for and settles on a blast furnace auto smelter designed by Cubfan, the better to deal with all of the ores he's sending up from the branch mine.
But basically the only change I made was that instead of regular furnaces, I have blast furnaces in here.
Sending himself up from the branch mine is also a consideration, and he considers a water elevator for easier access so he doesn't have to keep hurling himself into the penthouse windows.
I get that it's handy as all get out. It's just that, in my opinion, it's really, really freaking annoying.
Impulse SV has the opposite problem, having to hurl himself at the basement below his ice fortress. Luckily, a few helpful hermits are able to lend a hand, and he 3D prints a floor design created by a fan who was, in turn, inspired by his base.
I wish I could take credit for it, but I didn't come up with this. In fact, I got it from a Reddit user named FGSGTC, who I saw this in a post a long time ago.
With the ideas flowing, he's invited to a meeting with Grian, who asks him to help with a certain high-octane shopping experience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a shopping experience. If it's a minigame, people might expect to play for free.
Grian's big barge sweep minecart ride turned out to be a heck of a project, and so, since they've had such success designing these on-rails activities before, he invites Impulse to design a section using as many slime block catapults as he likes. When Impulse starts remodeling, it turns out they're inches away from decked out, but there's still room to maneuver. Grian's ambitions barge way past just the Aquay though. Back in the shopping district, his original emporium is transformed to its greatest form. The final barge rises above the competition, threatening the customers with good deals on blocks, except for Impulse's ones. But before his shopping centre can be filled in on sand, Grian just had to find out scientifically whether he is a sucker or not.
According to Etho, using TNT is the fastest way to collect sand. A whole bunch of sand for about an hour, and we're going to figure out whether I'm the sucker or Etho's the sucker.
The 30 minutes of shoveling return much less than the half hour of explosives, but it's much nicer to be a sucker with some sand than someone who accidentally TNT'd all his tools and armour. Luckily, there's a much less labour-intense way of proving yourself to Etho now that Brainy eases around.
Than it is to use a shovel. Shovel's got 245 stacks in 30 minutes, and TNT got 329. This is closer than I thought it was going to be. I actually thought TNT may even double it.
Rendog doesn't like sand. It's coarse and rough, and it gets everywhere. But sandstone, that's another story. Bust out your clue horn and prepare the blue milk, because the Tattoo Ren Cantina has taken shape on the outskirts of town and should be ready to serve customers, provided they aren't droids.
Oh, and by the by, I might have got a little bit carried away in the grinding off camera too, my friends. Took some time yesterday to actually lower the interior of the cantina by about 4 blocks.
There's still lots to do in the landscape of Mustafar, with more lava rivers going in, but along with a pipe connecting his creeper farm storage to the spaceship hangar, Ren is starting to tie the whole thing together.
And there we go, our shulker boxes are slowly but surely receiving the gunpowder. Absolutely amazing.
And finally, there's TangoTek, with the next minigame the whitelist will surely go crazy for. His Among Us Minecraft reimagining hits the final stage of development, each single system functioning as intended and just QA and minor quirks left. Just how many quirks he wants to add before the big playtest is unclear, but the Hermit's Helping Hermits livestream sure did help him put a lid on it.
On Among Us, so I want to give a big thank you to Jevin, to Joe, to Cleo, to Cobb, and to Impulse for stopping by and helping me do this.
Tango presents the many task minigames planned, as well as the individual mechanics that will make the game click, from determining the fail and win state to picking the imposter in the first place, and of course the Ender Pearl Stasis emergency meeting. We even get a nice visual of the overall map done in the original game's art style. Anyway, Tango, please save your replay mod file, you might lose hours of time-lapse footage.
We're going to go ahead and interrupt this episode here to inform you that I cannot possibly cover all the tasks. There are too many. It will take 20 minutes.
And that's about it for this week's recap. Our writer is LoyXP, and my name is PixelRiffs. With caves and cliffs on the way, I'm making progress on my Survival Guide Museum before the series wraps up, and you can find the latest episode linked in the end screen theatre. Don't forget to leave a like while you're still here, and subscribe so you won't miss future recaps. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.